KakuseiHantā OmegaHōn with 百獣戦隊ガオレンジャー25周年記念スペシャル
Continuing on in this heated battle of the Kakuzyu hunters against the Hyakuju hunters, who turned out to be the Hyakuju Sentai Gaoranger, hard as Kakeru, eye as Sei, sharp as Kai, prey as Gaku, Fred as Sotaro, and lone as Sukumaro, much to shout, Enkaku, and the others shocked, as the Hyakuju hunters also reveal on how they became hunters to find the Hyakuju Agorgirs. 25 years later, after the Gaorangers defeat the Orge tribe Org from resuming their destruction on humanity and all living beings, Mother Earth continues to be well protected, with the Gaorangers themselves resuming their normal lives, until one day they each get encountered by a man who turns out to be their mission giver, who explains to them the horrific news. The Sky Island, Animarium, has been infected by an unknown virus caused by a barren Org, whose spirit is created by the Org Master to be hidden somewhere in the human world before the Master sealed by Gao God as a young boy named Futaro. This spread that the Org did not only turn Animarium into a dark animal kingdom, but it affected every power animal, hundreds of them, who are the Gaorangers' friends in battle against the Orgs, turning their colors dark along with their colorful orbs called Gao Jewels, so pitched black they can't see those animals. Their mentor, the Gao Priestess, Tetamu, is also affected by the virus that changed not only her appearance but her personality to prey for misfortune, conflicts, and ruin upon the mother planet Earth itself. As the 100-beast squadron, not wanting Animarium and their precious friends to continue being darkened and evil, the mission giver, who reveals to have powers to accept the team's wish and take them to various worlds, assigns them to a different universe where giant horned beasts called Kakuzyu rule its Earth years ago before being sealed in Agorgirs, which among those species, dark counterparts called Akuzyu were defeated by the Kakuzyu, resulting in their sealed in those dark batteries, which are the target objects that the team need to gather every single one of them in order to free the island and its living beings from the virus. To blend in with that world's people, where some became professional kaiju trainers, hunters who found and used the Kakuzyu for battles, the Gaorangers have to become hunters too, as well as changing their names, each receiving their red-colored Omega horn called OmegaHorn, and red-black color-swapped Omega analyzers called OmegaO analyzers, so they can set out to collect all the Hyakuju Agorgirs to give to the mission giver to grant the team's wish. This flashback makes the 8 hunters and the flame-horned beast shocked, prompting Shout to tell Heart that he and the Gaorangers should have figured out that the mission giver is not who they would have expected, believing to be the one responsible for infecting the floating island, and assign them to this world to find and unseal the Hyakuju from their Agorgirs for the giver's own personal gain. However, the Gaorangers revealed that the mission giver is the Baron Org, who warns them that by defeating the monster himself will not restore Animarium and its inhabitants to good health, and that the monster will restore it if the 6 Rangers have to obey his command to find the Hyakuju, and with that mission complete, the Org will get rid of the virus from the island and everything after the 6 defeat the Kakuzyu hunters and those beasts. This makes the 10 surprised that the Org monster the Gaorangers faced back in 2001 has infected Animarium, the power animals, and Tetamu in order to force the Gaorangers to do his bidding in an exchange to free the island from the virus, as this wonders the 10 to know why would that Org monster be interested in the Hyakuju despite being a soul created by the Org master in the Gaorangers world. However, their questions become distractions, allowing the Gaoranger hunters and the Hyakuju to take them down, while the Org monster as the mission giver is watching these events in the cave, explaining to himself that everything is going perfect. Just as the Gaoranger hunters are about to return their Hyakuju and return to the cave, Shout, Enkaku, and others stop them, while getting back up on their feet, by explaining they should work together to find the source the Org used to infect Animarium so they can restore the island back to its original glory and defeat that monster. Although Enkaku mocks that won't work since he and the Hyakuju will overthrow everything in this world to become the Hyakuju king that conquers in darkness, all thanks to his partner Heart and the mission-giving Org for coming up with that genius idea to unseal him. Although Heart tells Enkaku to never call him partner, still wanting to turn his true animal partner, Gao Lion, back to good health, along the Gaorangers' own animal partners, after getting rid of the intruders. Shout and Enkaku, along with Ibar and Zetsu Enkaku, will not let that domination come to life, and despite being rivals whose different goals are both good, they, along with every Kakuzyu, normal or absolute, will always become better, along with humanity, than the Hyakuju, so that the Earth will always be at its peaceful and well-protected state, as the 2 captains use their own Enkaku Agorgirs and Omega horns with their loud voices to fire up those 2 beasts to join together and perform a co-op attack on the Class S Hyakuju, prompting the Kakuzyu hunters to do the same by powering up their Kakuzyu to take down their dark counterparts, leaving the 2 flame-horned beasts taking on Enkaku, who gets angry that being with humanity is stupid and that giant beasts should be the only beings to exist as true inhabitants and gods. The Gaoranger hunters tried everything for them and the Hyakujū to defeat the Kakuzyu and their hunters that will make the mission-giving org proud to grant them their wish, but they're no match against them with the Kakuzyu overflowing with support from their hunters' voices, working together like tag team partners. This results in the Hyakujū getting weakened by the Kakuzyu and the hunters, who finish the job by having the 5 horned saints and 2 Enkaku perform their group horn technique, Kakuzyu Echo. This kills the Hyakujū for good along with their Agorgiers thanks to the Kakuzyu hunters for bringing them out of the Gaoranger hunters' pockets, ending the lives of Hyakujū once and for all. As a result, this makes the Gaorangers fall into despair. With the Hyakujū defeated, they can never receive their wish of restoring Animarium, Tetamu, and their power animal friends. However, the two groups see lots of defeated Hyakujū souls heading towards the cave, engulfing the mission giver org with those dark horn beast souls, proclaiming to the Gaorangers that despite their defeats in the hands of the Kakuzyu hunters, they have served this mission well to make the giver's plan a success, as he then transforms into his true, giant org form who goes by the name, Hyakujū Org. This shocks everyone, including the Gaorangers, to ask the org about their wish, which the monster reveals that wishing promise in the mission is nothing but a lure to get the Gaorangers to give the monster the Agorgiers containing the Hyakujū, getting defeated by the Kakuzyu, and gathering their souls to make the final Baron Org himself this ultimate power. Once the Org's done with the groups, he will return to the Gaoranger's world, rule the Dark Animarium, and use the infected power animals to bring ruin on that planet, which the Gaorangers don't want that to happen, angry to have been deceived by that monster for this kind of plot twist task. This prompts Hyakujū Org to give out a powerful blast at the entire group to their demise. However, they didn't get hit as the blast hit Mei-Aku instead, who the dark unicorn penguin horn beast, its Agorgier remain in Heart's pocket, summon itself instead of using the OmegaHōn to protect them as a sacrifice, collapsing to the ground much to Heart's horror as he rushes towards the beast's body, whose cry translates to be happy for being with Heart and understand his good ego and care for any kind of animal while finding the En-Aku Agorgier, and also thanks Heart as a veterinarian for taking care of Mei-Aku whenever it gets injured during the collecting adventure, before it disintegrates as a soul absorbed by the org, while its Agorgier is destroyed. With the last Hyakujū soul obtained, Hyakujū Org sends himself back to the Gaoranger's world, leaving Heart burst into tears and roar of agony over his first discovered Hyakujū's death as rain clouds come in, pouring the quarry. In the end, Heart's roar can be heard by the Dark Gao Lion, believing to be hearing things, in the Dark Animarium, where Hyakujū Org now teleports to this island in the Gaoranger's world to finally set his goal into action, however not only doing this for the Org tribe that attempt to cause destruction on Earth for so long.